Now there's a lot of discussions that Israeli intelligence and U.S. intelligence allowed this to happen. Because a lot of people are like, how the fuck did Israeli intelligence see this? A lot of people, there's a story I saw earlier about how they got a tip that this was going to happen, but they allowed it to happen because it would justify this conflict they wanted to escalate. I'm still looking more into that theory. That's why I haven't presented it as a segment, but I think that's very credible. Here are just some receipts to kind of back up what CJ was saying, because I'm already seeing this is the narrative the West is going to spin, because they're never going to allow a tragedy to go to waste, right? So since it's happened, we might well use this tragedy to escalate the war against the countries we want to go to war with. So I'll just read a few headlines here, and feel free to interrupt if you have any takes on this. But it said, what role does Russia have to play with a mass invasion of Israel? You guys see how they've flown that question out there? You think that question is just to make people think? No, it's to make the reader have to reach a conclusion. Oh, damn, Russia's helping Hamas? They know more people don't read the whole damn story. Here's one more. I showed this earlier. Another one they floating. Attack on Israel. Russia says NATO. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong one, but yeah, they definitely want to repeat the talking. They are definitely pushing the talking point that Iran, Russia has something to do with this. Now, this is Russia's claims. I couldn't find the exact statement I saw earlier, but this is another one that just printed a few hours ago on Reuters. Russia accuses U.S. of destructive approach on the Israeli-Palestine war. So you want to know what else will solve this problem? The Chinese peace proposal that is sponsored by Lula and Russia. So what did the Chinese peace proposal say? Respect the territorial sovereignty of peoples and states. So if you have Israel and the United States are not supporting this genocidal action in Gaza, that is not in compliance with the Chinese peace proposal, as well with the UN and international law as well. For the people who think that the Palestinians are terrorist thugs that deserve everything they're given by the Israelis, as the Israelis and the United States fight this just war, you guys want to see this insane footage of what retired IDF war criminals talking about their experience in the Israeli military. And as I show you this video, I want you guys to realize these people are alive and very, very well taken care of in Israel. So let's watch this video.
השתוללו בטנטור היה משהו נורא. טנטור היה כפר עשיר, בתים יפים, גרים כמו אירופאים, אתה יודע, וגם אנשים היו לבושות ויפה, וזה באמת היה כפר... אחד אנס שם איזה ילדה בת 16, משהו כזה.
He said one of the soldiers raped a 16-year-old girl here as he is laughing, fam. But tell me more about how the Palestinians uniquely use rape as a weapon. Here you have an Israeli war criminal, retired, taken care of, fucking talk about the great nostalgic days of his friends raping girls. Let's continue.
אתה מבין?
I won't play the part again.
לבושות ויפה, ובאמת היה כפר... אחד אנס שם איזה ילדה בת 16, משהו כזה. אתה מבין? אבל זה מכוער מאוד, היה לנו בחור אחד, הוא נפטר, הוא היה פרא אדם, הוא לקח פשוט מאוד, ורצח אותם בתוך המכלאות. בתוך המכלאות, הם היו במכלאות, אתה יודע, חוטי ברזל כאלה, עגולים כאלה, אספו כל הגברים. הם יושבים שם, כל העם, על הרצפה, ובא מישהו, ולוקח תת מקלע, ומתחיל זה, מחליף מחסנית, מה אתה חושב זה? אבל אנחנו לא היינו כאלה. הוא היה יוצא דופן, הבחור הזה, כן, מה שהוא עשה. והשתיקו את הדבר הזה, והיו חבר'ה שלקחו את הלוויורים, ורדפו אחרי חבר'ה ושרפו אותם. זה היה משהו זוועתי, וזה אסור לספר, אני לא אדבר על זה, כי זה יכול להיות סקנדל שלם.
This nigga talking about this like it's the good old days. The same way my grandpa used to tell stories about him riding the motorcycle. About him talking about his days playing basketball. When he used to talk about that stuff, he used to light up like a Christmas tree. This motherfucker lighting up like a Christmas tree talking about war crimes. Unbelievable.
אני לא רוצה לדבר על זה, וזהו.
ב3-4 חודשים הראשונים הייתי רוצח. מה זה אומר?
אני לא לקחתי שבויים.
I
בזמן
never took
קרב,
prisoners.
אם מישהו ירים ידיים, משהו כזה. לא לקחתי שבויים. זה זעזע אותי עד כדי כך, לא יכלתי לעבור לסדר היום. אם היה עומדת כיתה של זה עם ידיים למעלה, אז באותו יום הייתי רואה אותי, הייתי קוצר את כולם, עד כדי כך.
כמה אתה חושב אנשים הרגת ככה?
לא ספרתי. אני לא יכול לדעת בחיי. היה לי מקלע עם 250 כדורים. תראה, יריתי, נלחמתי כולם. אני לא יכול לספור.
Meanwhile, the right wing think Hamas and Palestinians are the savages. This is one more here. I'm sorry that I know this is very hard to listen to, but we're living in crazy times, and these are the people that many people in our country is apologizing for and cheering for. The entire Democratic Party and Republican Party is on board with this. Now you guys know why we post duopoly? Anyone who's part of duopoly, if you vote for Joe Biden, who's sending arms and supporting this, you're complicit with this. That's how I view it. You're complicit with this if you are a duopolist in any form. So I gotta show you guys what you're supporting. But listen to this. Israeli soldier. I start this out by reading it. They say, I killed more than 40 people for you. So let me play the video from there. Crazy.
הוא בא אליי ואומר לי, למה הרגת אותי? עכשיו, כל הבית מתפורר לך מול הפרצוף, חברים שלך מתפרקים לך, אתה נפצע ספציפית, נשבר לך הגוף, אבל אתה יוצא בנס. אז אני לוקח את עצמי בידיים ומפנה את הצמד שלי לטנק תחת אש. אחרי זה אתם לא ממלאים לי דוח פציעה, מי זאת הקציעת נפגעים שלי? איפה הוועדה? איפה? מי היה אמור לקחת אותי ליחידה לתגובות קרב? וזה אחרי התקלויות. שנצאו אותי בקרב, הוא להילחם לבד. שצים, אתה היית מח"ט גולני, נכון?
הייתי מח"ט גולני.
אני הייתי גם גולנצ'יק, למה אתם לא מטפלים בי? אני הרגתי בשבילכם בידיים האלה, אתם אומרים חבלים גם על הידיים? אני הרגתי בשבילכם יותר מ-40 איש! רצחתי! אז מה אתם פה היום? 9 שנים אין לי 1%. אינוס יצחק שלם לי את הכל? 10,000 שקלים, 100,000 שקלים, מה נראה לכם? פה ככה זה עומד! אמא שלי שילמה לי את הבית חולים של הפציעה שלי בעזה! אתם תבעתם את אמא שלי! אין לי דוח פציעה! מי זאת הקצינת נפגעים שלי? מי זאת? יום אחרי... מצאתי את עצמי מחוץ לגולני! למה זה?
I can stop it there because once again, these are the Israelis are considered the side that is unanimously the good guys here. So I want to get Fiorella in here, and then we have a special guest that will be joining us as well. So Fiorella, any takes you want to add as we wrap up and get ready for the next segment?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about this, but if you notice how that man in that first video was talking about the 16-year-old girl and all the killings that they did with such glee, this is not any different than how the Nazis talked about how they killed Jews. And just because they are Israeli doesn't mean that they cannot have this fascist perspective. Any religion or group of people that think they are above everybody else and think another group of people is subhuman can adopt this fascistic type of attitude. And there's a lot of I've done several interviews with several people on this exact thing, and this is not again against the Jewish people, because I know plenty of Jewish people. One of them that's been really outspoken has been Dan Cohen. He's been hugely outspoken on this. He does great work, and he did something on 4 Palestinian boys who survived, and he's done several documentaries. I have friends, and there are so many people of Jewish descent who literally talk against what Israel has been doing to Palestinians. So this is about the Zionism and the hatred that they have. You go to Israel and you'll find many videos of them saying how they think Muslims and Palestinians are subhuman. They don't think they are human. And that is the same sentiment that was cultivated by Nazis. So when people in the US want to support this type of idea under this guise of, oh, this is, we're for the Jewish people, we're anti-Semitic, we're not anti-Semitic, we're we support the Jewish people. It's completely false, and that's why they've been able to get away with it for so long, Israel, because they use exactly that, which is, I think it's the most paradoxical yet really sad thing that I've seen.
But I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because you mentioned how it had nothing to do with the Jewish people, and I love how Q brought up how this is not a religious struggle. This is the issue of settler colonialism. And Zionists, they want nothing more than to make it about religious struggle, right? That's so people can blindly accept whatever side their book tell them they should accept, instead of viewing the issue for what it is. So I want people to realize there's a giant movement of Jewish people, especially among the youth, that is critical of the Zionist regime in Israel. So Fiorella, I'll pass it to you after I play this video, but this is a group, this is a short very short video of pro-Palestinian Jews. And there's a ton of people like that, especially in the youth movement. They chanted, so I can turn the audio off, but you guys see they protesting there. Fiorella, anything you want to add? Anything you want to add to this? You want to chime in?
Yeah, well, so I mean, everything that was said is so true, right? I just, because of everything the Palestinians have gone through, I wanted to say something about what you mentioned earlier, Nick. There's been this theory floating around that Israel is sort of in on this and they've allowed this to happen. I actually don't agree with that theory based on the information that I have about the Palestinian resistance, because the Palestinian resistance is not just Hamas. In fact, Hamas is a very divided group. And there are different factions that like and don't like Hamas, but I mean, Hamas isn't what they are painted out to be by the West. They are not these terrorists. They are not, I mean, they're not, necessarily,
they think the PFLP doesn't exist. There's not 28 different organizations that people have been rallying behind.
Exactly. So the Palestinian resistance is much bigger than what the media is saying. So when people say, well, this intelligence officer in Israel said that there's no way that this could have happened, we have to understand that Israel is a country that, like the United States, has projected itself to be much more put together, intelligent, and organized than it actually is. And they were caught off guard. They were literally caught off guard. You could see in the government, Netanyahu.
They were caught with their pants down, literally. There were soldiers that got with their, wearing their underwear because they were not prepared for it. They got caught literally with their pants down.
And so this to me is because for decades, the Palestinian resistance has been training. They have been watching the Israeli intelligence apparatus. They have been taking notes. They are working on the ground. They don't have all this technology necessarily, but they've been developing their own ways of fighting them. And these are people who have so much to lose and so little to lose at the same time. They're fighting for their lives. This is existential for the Palestinian people. So they have a different perspective than what Israel does. And recently Israel has been very lax because things had calmed down for a little bit. And so they really got caught off guard. And the reality is, as I said, the Palestinian resistance, even beyond Palestine, you can see in Hezbollah, they have formed this unity with each other as to really go after the crux of the Israeli apparatus. And it doesn't matter how many weapons Israel has and how it has all this money. Just like in Ukraine is getting all these weapons and all this money. They can't use them. They don't really have the capacity and facilitation to actually be able to use these weapons efficiently. Like the Russians with their weapons, this is exactly how they're conducting their battlegrounds. So in Palestine, you can see that similarly as well. I think that theory discounts the fact that the Palestinian people the resistance is extremely well prepared. They have been fighting and fighting and fighting. I do think there are rogue factions, but I definitely don't see this as just this being allowed to happen. To me, that discounts what the people of Palestine have been fighting for a very long time. So as far as I know, as far as I've seen, I haven't really seen the evidence for that.